down. No, I walk the walk, don't think I'm stepping back. Don't go looking at me like I'm gonna crash the final lap. So I know you're not sure, like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break.
Hi, this is Justin Coletti of SonicScoop, and thanks for joining me for MixCon 2025. And today, we are starting off our series of mixing masterclasses with one from a true master of mixing, a guy named Brent Kolatalo. Brent is an amazing producer, engineer, mixer. He's been at it for ages, and he has over 20 gold and platinum records to his name. He's worked on more than 19 number one albums and singles, and has worked on over 15 Grammy-nominated projects. He has worked with a huge array of incredible artists. We're talking about people like Kendrick Lamar, Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars, Drake, Kanye West, Eminem, Lana Del Ray, One Republic, Taylor Swift, Jay-Z, Drake, Lady Gaga, and today we're going deep on a mix from more of an alt-country artist named Skrizzly Adams. So he has worked across genres, and today is going to be a really great one, I think. We're going to be able to go through Brent's entire approach to the mix, his mixing philosophy, his whole order of operations, what he does, when and why, what's most important in the mix. And we'll get to see his whole plug-in chain and the way he integrates both analog and digital in the studio. We'll even be able to ask Brent questions about his approach right after the live premiere of this video. So type your questions into the chat box, and we'll be saving the best ones for that live Q&A right after this premieres. He'll be using interesting tools from a whole variety of different brands, but all of the MixCon videos are free to the public thanks to our sponsors. And the sponsor on this one is a supernatural fit. It is SoundToys, and you're definitely going to see some SoundToys plugins in this one. In this session, I saw him using Echo Boy, Decapitator, Little Alter Boy, and more. And I know he's used pretty much every single plugin they've ever made, including their new Space Blender, which is an awesome one. We just did a video about that one with Mitch Thomas of SoundToys. Check that out on this channel right here if you haven't already. Before we get into this masterclass, just know that we are also giving away a whole bunch of free stuff, thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of free gear at the MixCon Mega Giveaway. So go check that out and check out more upcoming presentations over at mix-con.com. That's mix-con.com, where you can make sure to RSVP for more live premieres and live Q&As coming up with our MixCon Masterclass mixers. Thanks so much for joining us for this one. Let's get right into it. Brent, take it away.
My name is Brent Kolatalo. I just want to thank SonicScoop and MixCon for this opportunity to show you my mixing perspective. I also want to thank SoundToys for sponsoring this. What I'm going to be showing you is a song by Skrizzly Adams called All In. And I'm going to be breaking that down, giving you some mix hacks and just my general philosophy on mixing and maybe life. And yeah, that's it. Let's jump in. All right, before we dive into the mix, there's a few things that I do to prep that actually help me in the long run that I think will benefit you as well. A couple of those are groupings and color coding your instruments and your vocals. So I always start off with the drums up top, and they're always blue for me. Then it's followed by the bass, which is orange, followed by more musical instruments as it gets lower. So then usually green is always guitars for me. And then it'll be piano and purple. And then say like you have like an uplifter or a downlifter, like a transitional sound. So that's in yellow. And then underneath that are the vocals, which are always in red for me. And they're in red because that's the most important part of the song. There's a few things I like to do to prep before I dive into it. And one is listening to the demo of the client, like many, many times, like referencing it, making sure you communicate with them about if they like reverb on their vocals, if they want the drums to sound punchy, etc. Usually what helps me is I always ask the client to give me a reference of 2 songs that are out right now that they absolutely love the mix on. It doesn't have to completely match the mix of their song, but just get you in the general ballpark. Those help because like it'll let you know if they like the mix super compressed, if it's bright. It'll just lead you in the right direction. What I think is good and what the client, like your client, thinks is good could be two polar opposite things. Like you have to try to like meet in the middle somewhere. So one of my main like philosophies in mixing is basically getting the emotion out of the song. Like that is crucial. Is like what is speaking to me about this song that I can emphasize even more in my mix. And if you don't get inspired by your mix, the client is not going to be inspired by the mix. So I will, before I ever send a mix off, my first draft of a mix, like I have to be 100% over the moon about what I just did. Because if I'm not inspired by it, they're not going to be inspired by it. And even if it takes an extra day to sit with it and make sure like you got all your ducks in a row, that is crucial. Like, because music, everything's about emotion. Like I can sit here and get super technical with you, but if you don't feel it, it's not going to matter. Let me play the song just so you get a good feel for it, and then I'll dive into the details after that.
Issues every week, the way you drag your feet. Fighting with my past, why don't you fight with me? Baby, come on. Everything you got is everything you see. Don't go looking back when everything in front of you is me. Cause I know you're not sure. Like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poetry to being blunt and honest. Baby, yeah, I want this. I'm all in. I know you're not sure. Like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poetry to being blunt and honest. Baby, yeah, I want this. I'm all in.
So let me just show you what I did using SoundToys, which is my favorite creative plugins. Like their plugins for creativity by far inspire me the most out of any other company. And I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. So the lead vocal, check this out.
You're feeling scared and talking like you ain't falling. I could be the man to find the feelings that you've got it. Baby, know the walls are tall, just let me fall in.
The main effect I'm using there, I know the artist Skrizzly. I know he likes that old school kind of slapback rock sound. So I'm using Echo Boy. Now check this out. Here's Echo Boy bypass.
You're feeling scared and talking like you ain't falling. I could be the man to find the feelings that you've got it. Baby, know.
Now back with it in.
You're feeling scared and talking like you ain't falling. I could be the man to find the feelings that.
So that just gives instant personality to me. And it just gives it a vibe. Like where like his demo, like basically just had a reverb on there. Just a basic reverb. That was it. What I usually do is I'll go through their presets on the vocal and I'll just experiment. I'll go through classic. I'll go through the classic 15, classic 30, and just go through, and there's no rhyme or reason. Like I'll go down through the presets and then revisit the ones that like hit me emotionally. Presets for me are always just a quick jumping off spot, just to get like that instant like quick sound, because you want to be quick when you mix. Like time is money as well. So for a vocal, if you're looking for like a vocal slapback, Echo Boy is perfect. Another creative tool I like to use, which is Decapitator. I'll play you just the acoustic by itself. So now with it bypassed. You hear how boring and like dull it is without when it's bypassed. It has zero character. It's gonna bring out all these little nuances. It'll fill it up, just make it lively. And like Decapitator is one of my go-to saturation plugins for any guitars, really. I use it for vocals as well. It's great for vocals. You just got to be careful not to overdo it. Also, other things I like to do that the artist has no idea about. And these are sneaky things you can do that they'll think you're an absolute genius and a magician, and you'll thank me later. Like everything in mixing is one small step after another. It's like one little thing leads to another big thing, and it's like you're building these blocks, and then like eventually all those small little details add up into this one amazing thing at the end. So one of the things I did was I figured out the bass line in the chorus, and he had no, like, it was just missing that sub, like, fundamental, like, where the bass, it was literally just a rock bass, but it had no low end. Okay, so here's the rock bass without the sub that I added underneath, just so you can hear the example. Now here's with the sub underneath. So it's a huge difference. And like, that's like a couple octaves down. And then I took it a step further. And so that's the super low octave. And then I added another octave above that. So you'll hear that here. And it's still a sub bass, but it's an octave above the low octave sub. Now I'll play just that rock bass by itself. So the amount of depth that the sub gets, and it's something super easy to do. And in Logic, I'll show you the preset that that's my go-to preset for subs. It's super easy. It's a stock. It's honestly just a stock preset. You just go under the EXS instruments, go under synth bass, and then where is it? Sine sub bass. That's it. Super simple. And it's like those little things just add up to and make your mix way more three-dimensional. So another plugin that is my secret weapon that I want to show you. Usually, in my experience, straying too far from their original demo is going to get you in trouble. And so there's a plugin, it's made by Plugin Alliance. It's called Adapter Metric AB that I always have up in my session. So basically what you do is you load up their demo into one of these slots right here. You hit sync, it syncs up with your session. So the A metric, when you go A to B and you switch it like this is actually, you're monitoring your mix session, and then the B is their demo. And what's great about this is you can match the loudness. So when you're referencing in real time A/B, and you match the loudness, you can actually hear what their demo sounds like, the gain match to yours. So I'll show you an example here. What's great about it is it'll let you see how far off you are from their mix, and if your mix is sounding bigger, if it's sounding dull, if there's not dynamics in it. This is their mix here on the chorus that I'll just play. And so B is their mix.
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poetry to being blunt and honest. Baby, yeah, I want this. I'm all in.
Now my reference is A.
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poetry to being blunt and honest. Baby, yeah, I want this. I'm all in.
It's like night and day. That's when you know you've done your job. But not having that, I would be kind of lost, to be honest with you. And back in the day when plugins like this didn't actually, weren't available, I would literally bounce it out of the session, open up a new session, and then listen to headphones and A/B it. Took forever. Absolute nightmare. Technology is great. Another thing before starting your mix is gain staging. I know it's not fun. It's not a fun thing to do, but gain staging is hugely important. So what I always do is like, I'll basically grab all the faders, pull them down about 10 dB, and then blast the speakers. Like I'll basically trick my ears. Like I'll mix super loud, but I'll have all this headroom still left. So you're cranking up the speakers midway through your mix, you still have all of this headroom left. What I've noticed is a lot of beginning like mix engineers will always screw up on the gain staging. Like it'll be in the red like 10 minutes in, and they can't understand why they can't get all like their kicks or their snares to hit hard. It's because it's just getting squashed. Like there's no room for it to hit hard. So by like tricking yourself, by bringing all the faders down and then just turning like your volume knob up to like 11, it'll basically prevent you from turning up your faders until you're maxed out. Also, another great thing that I usually do, depending on style, is I have like certain mix templates for each client. So for Skrizzly, he's like rock country. So I'll always use I'll use the UAD Ampex ATR. This sounds like tape. And so it gives you that old classic vintagey rock sound. So this is a part of my rock mixing template. And I always tweak to taste as well. When I listen to the song, I'll gauge by what the song is telling me to do, and I'll tweak the preset that I had on my template. Because every song is different. Every song is going to hit differently in an EQ spot. Yeah, so for hip hop, my mix template would be a bit different. I wouldn't use the UAD, any like tape, like saturation plugins. It'd be more along the lines of like the God Particle by Cradle. One of my go-to rules for mixing for a client is I have to make sure that I add at least 2 to 3 things that are slightly different than their demo. And it could be something as simple as like a vocal delay, like maybe a drop, if it's hip hop. Let me show you what I did for Skrizzly. This was more liberty than I would recommend you taking for a client you don't know, but like Skrizzly Adams trusts me. So for the pre, I did a drop. Basically, I took all the drums out and I took a chance, but I knew it felt good. And going back to the emotion, like it struck me emotionally, and like what guides me mix wise is the emotion. If I'm feeling this, if this feels like it's a better direction than the other direction, then I will 110 times go that way. So here's an example with 2 bars of pre-roll, just so this is coming into from the verse to the pre, where he actually kept the drums and I made an executive decision to mute them just because I felt like it hit better creatively, and it set up the song because this is like the first pre/chorus.
Don't go looking at me like I'm gonna crash the final lap. So I know you're not sure, like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become.
So to me, like the energy doesn't change at all leading into the chorus B section. So here's my version with the drums muted in that section leading into the chorus.
Looking at me like I'm gonna crash the final lap. So I know you're not sure, like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever.
First off, it gives you dynamics of the song, and it sets up the chorus so much better. So like it helps define your sections. And I don't know about you, but like it hit me emotionally, and he loved it. Thankfully, he loved it. And I'm not saying to do that to every client you have, as that's an aggressive move. But just know your client, just make sure you talk to them, have your liberties. Like if you have a liberty to do that, and they'll thank you for it at the end. They're taking chances, as long as they're open to you taking chances. Some things I really love to do for clients to show them that I'm going the extra mile is I'll give them two different versions. I'll give them one version that's creative. It's a super creative left field mix, and the other one that's just, based off their demo, but better. Like it's like their demo on steroids. So that way, like they at least can compare them. And sometimes, like what usually happens is like we'll do a Frankenstein version, and it shows you're going the extra mile for them, and it gives them at least like they have a safe spot. Like they can always rely back on the demo as well. Like your demo mix that's on steroids, where they feel comfortable. It's not like making them jump completely, forcing them to pick one direction off of your creative mix. You're giving them options so they don't feel like pigeonholed. But yeah, that's one huge trick that I love to do, and it doesn't have to be something that's super time consuming. It's like something as simple as that, just dropping out the drums, adding a transition. So I'll show you here what I did as well. So these little transition things go such a long way. These transitional effects, like an uplifter, like a stomp impact. So this is the sounds right here, solo. And like all of these little moves are basically just to add energy to the song. So let me play you his version without these in the demo.
Don't go looking at me like I'm gonna crash the final lap. So I know you're not sure, like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything?
Now with those elements in.
Crash the final lap. So I know you're not sure, like I never could be more than the man I was. Just see what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die.
Another thing that actually drives me nuts, and it's one of those little details things, but like drives me nuts, and vocal audio files I get from clients are just like little mouth smacks, clicks. The average listener like won't know what's going on, but it'll affect them subconsciously. It makes something sound busier than it should. Let me show you one quick tool that like you can just slap on that's easy for like mouth clicks. The isotope declick. And you just put it on low latency. I usually put it up around to 6.5 to 7. The only downfall with this is like you just have to make sure that sometimes it'll kill some of the transients in the voice. So you just want to make sure it doesn't affect like some of the P's and the S's. It's a quick way to clean up your vocal like instantaneously, and instead of having to go in and like be a surgeon and like split it from a word that's going to take you like 10 minutes to do. Okay, let me show you the RX declick in action. So listen to Baby and listen to it. This is bypassed. I'll play this for you first just so you can hear the difference.
Feelings that you've got it, baby, know the walls are tall, just let me fall.
Like that click right on Baby. Now with it in.
Feelings that you've got it, baby, know the walls are tall, just let me fall in. Feelings
Like magic, it's gone. Yeah, you just have to make sure that the low latency is engaged, or if you don't have low latency, it's going to sound out of time. I don't know. One of the like mixing hacks that I'll give you that has worked for me is know your mixing tendencies. And it took me a while to figure out what I gravitate towards mix wise, and like what my tendencies were, which is like I usually like brighter mixes than the average listener. So knowing that, like all my mixing template, I'll put in plugins where like there's like 2 specific plugins that I'll put in that actually warm the mix up instantly. So it'll counteract what like I know my tendency is. One of my go-tos, I'll show you right here, is just this UAD pool tech. And like I'll always just usually boost it up around 3 dB, around like 100 hertz. And that'll instantly warm up the mix. And I don't put that on until like the very end, because I already know, like, I'll think like my mix is like rocking, it's the best thing in the world. And then I'll put this on, and then I'm like, oh shit, okay, now that makes way more sense, because I just know myself. And like sometimes like you have to step outside of like your own like setbacks, and like and be honest with yourself as well. And it's not an easy thing to do. And another thing like that helps is always taking breaks. Like I'm a workaholic. I love to just plow through. But for music, especially mixing, like ear fatigue is a real thing. Losing perspective. Right here, like we've been listening to like this pre-chorus and chorus like for a while, and like if you have something on loop, you're just going to lose perspective. And I can't tell you how many times I've been mixing super late and like have thought I've done like the best freaking mix ever. And it's like but it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like, oh yeah, the client's gonna love this. I'm gonna sleep on it. I wake up, turn on the computer, turn on all the gear, listen to it. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like I was like out of my mind. But that extra day, like that extra night of like sleep and like just reprogramming your brain, just to stepping outside. Oh my God, it can save you. It can save a mix. It can save you turning in a bad mix to your client. And also turning like distractions, turning off your phone. Like, there's this thing called like the flow state, being in your creative flow state, and like where time just seems to, like you're in such a groove, like time just seems to stop and stand still. But you know, you say you're mixing and you have, you know, your phone face up, and you get this text out of nowhere. You know, it could be your girlfriend, whatever, just being like, hey, you know, I can't wait to see you tonight, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to throw you into a whole different tailspin. And like to get back into that flow state, for me, I mean, everyone's different, but like it could be something as simple as that, where I'm thinking about that now, and now I have to get into that groove of, okay, nothing else exists in the world but this song and me mixing right now. All right, so another little trick I like to do to add into a mix that the client usually will never know, but it only like beefens up the vocals, is, so for the chorus, it's that classic low formant vocal trick where it sounds, I'll play it for you. But so this trick, I'll put really low under the lead vocal, so you can only feel it, but you can't really hear it, but you feel it. So let me just solo this, and like, so I get this with their plugin, SoundToys plugin called Little Ulcer Boy.
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a pop.
So the original without it sounds like his vocal.
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise.
So that basically acts as like a background vocal, like harmony, and it's like the low octave basically in the chorus. So I'll play it all together, and like you'll notice like you'll barely hear that low octave in the full mix, but you'll feel it. It's something super subtle, but it's those little details that just add up in the end.
See what this could become. Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poetry to being blunt and honest. Baby, yeah, I want this. I'm all in. New shoes every with the weight.
And let me just play that with the vocals, like.
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poet.
So now without it,
Don't you know you're everything I ever wanted? Cross my heart, I'd rather die than break a promise. There's a poet.
so you can hear it just adds this weight to the vocal that wouldn't be there. And it's like, it's super subtle. Like when all the instruments are in there, you can't hear it. So it just adds this another one of those little like trick moves that like adds up to the greater, like making your mix. It's like another stepping stone in your mix. Another mixing hack for you. So this one helps build dynamics, filtering out the high end of like in the intro and the verses. Like you filter out the high end, like say in the kick, or like in this case it'd be the kick and the guitar, and it gives it this much bigger energy, and like there's just more room for growth. Like I'm saying, like the intro, like I'm a believer in, and like the song slowly growing over time, like energy wise. So you start off, slow. It starts to everything just slowly ramps up, helping the artist express that in the mix is crucial. And a way to do that is by EQing like some of the frequencies, like the high bright frequencies out, and like the intros and the verses to help that chorus super like get as big as it can possibly be. So here I'll show you in the verse. I've got this just a basic, low pass filter Logic, and I'm not going completely. I'm not filtering out all the highs, but just enough where it's not crazy punchy and it's not super aggressive in the verse. Just so you can, I'll play this just so you can hear it on and with it off, and then leading into the pre.
I wake up, I'm all in. You feeling scared and talking like you ain't falling. I could be the man to find the feelings that you got it. Baby, know the walls are tall, just let me fall in. Yeah, I fought the bottle, but I'm done with that. I wake.
So when you hear that pre come in, you can hear how punchy that kick is. Listen to how punchy it is now, and there's no room for growth, like for the energy to grow.
I wake up, I'm all in. You feeling scared and talking like you ain't falling. I could be the man to find the feelings that you got it. Baby, know the walls are tall, just let me fall in. Yeah, I fought the bottle, but I'm done with that.
So you're already like at full throttle, and like you want your song to convey like what I'm going back to my philosophy of conveying how is your mix going to convey emotion and bring out the emotion of the song for your artist. And like little moves like that, like filtering the kick, like this moment here when it's filtered.
I wake up, I'm all in. You feeling scared.
Now the focus is on the vocal, it's not on the kick. Like and it leaves room for that kick to grow later on in the song. Another new trick that I've been using after I do a initial mix is starting to use AI a little bit. And I know a lot of people are gonna like groan at me saying that, but it's coming, and it's like you got to use it as like I'm a big believer in like doing like new things to improve your craft. And so one of the hacks I've been doing is after I finish a mix, I'll put like I use Suno for this AI like app where I'll put the song, and it's private. I'm not obviously not going to release the client's mix out to the public, and I'll give their take on the mix, and I'll put like the specific details of like what I want and like what I was going for, and see and get examples from what the AI shoots out. And sometimes there's going to be like a delay or a treatment in the vocal or a treatment in a kick or a sound like that I wouldn't have thought of. And I'll be like, oh my God. And like there's been moments where it has completely changed a song. And like you have to use every weapon like that's available to you, and AI is here whether you like it or not. And the quicker you get on the train, the better, the better it will be, because it's not going away ever anytime soon. Just as far as like work environment goes, for if you have, say, in-person sessions, or just for you yourself, try to do like bring things that like inspire you, like surround yourself with like things that inspire you. So for instance, this little Anthony Bourdain candle makes me happy. I have no idea why, but it just does, because like I love Anthony Bourdain, and him staring at me while I mix like motivates me. It's just little things like, and so when you have in-person sessions, you want to have things around that's going to inspire them. So like I have this like little vintage accordion that I've got in Germany, just laying around. And so a couple weeks ago, I had an artist in the studio. He started playing around with it, and we're like, oh, that's not like working on his mix. We ended up adding it into the song just because it just inspired him. One of my tricks is like I like to keep little things like music instruments out where artists can just like start like just pick it up like a kid, like just be a kid again, and like just start noodling around. I've got this microphone here. I have it because I can instantly start recording somebody, and all they have to do is the speakers can be on, and they can be right in the middle of the screen and like in the speakers, and it won't pick up. So if they instantly get inspired, then all they have to do is just grab that microphone and I hit record. So just have things in your workspace, in your studio, where somebody can just instantly grab like inspiration from, and you can record it like with everything being already set up. Yeah, I just want to say thanks again for SonicScoop and MixCon, and also Soundtoys for sponsoring this. I'm really honored to be able to show you guys my mix perspective and help you dive into the Skrizzly Adams song All In. I'm super thankful and hope you get something out of it.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that MixCon Masterclass as much as I did. Remember, we are coming right up on a live Q&A with Brent right after this concludes, so type your questions in the chat box. I hope to see you in the live Q&A interview with Brent, where we will be taking your questions. Also, big shout out to Soundtoys for helping make MixCon free to the public. They've been supporters since the beginning, and I know Brent has been using their stuff since the beginning of his days in mixing. They make really cool tools. In here, we got to see great instances of Echo Boy, Decapitator, Little Alter Boy, and I'll be talking more to Brent about some of his favorite Soundtoys plugins and a whole lot more in the Q&A coming up right after this. Also, remember, we got the MixCon mega giveaway going, so go over to mix-con.com. That's mix-con.com, where you can RSVP for more of these live premieres and Q&As. I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope to see you in the Q&A coming right up after this. See you there.